Well, the high holidays are upon us. Happy Jewish New Year to you all. The high holiday period in the Hasidic Jewish community is an absolutely electric time. It starts at the end of the summer as people return from their summer vacations, from their time away in the mountains, and suddenly the neighborhood bursts into life as it goes through a period of different holidays, each with its own intense number of celebrations, with its own mood, with its own colorful street landscape. I've been documenting some of these colorful moments on my channel in the past, and this year, as sort of my greeting card to you upon this very important moment in the calendar, I'm putting together some of that footage to give you a feel of how the neighborhood goes through that rhythm of different changes and how I experience it from my eyes. A Shana Tova Sukkah, which means a good and sweet New Year to you all, and I will see you around with much love.
We're here right on the eve of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, when 2 days are observed to celebrate the new Jewish year, but also to repent and to pray for a good new year. So this is a very somber holiday with a lot of rituals revolving around newness, beginnings, but also the plea and the hope for sweetness. There's a lot of honey being used to symbolize a sweet and good next year. We're looking at the Rosh Hashanah fruits.
Oh, there's plenty more inside.
Oh, okay, maybe we're gonna go inside. So for the high holidays, Rosh Hashanah, you celebrate this sweet new year, yes. See, people are helping me. You eat pomegranate, which is called in Yiddish a milgro, which according to folklore here, according to the legend, it has exactly 613 kernels, which stands for the 613 commandments in the Torah. And it's one of the iconic staples of the Jewish New Year, so they'll bring these in now during the holiday season, as well as red apples, which you dip in honey for part of the Rosh Hashanah meal rituals as well. You also eat exotic fruits that you don't eat the rest of the year, to sort of as a blessing for the Jewish New Year. Let's take a look at some of the exotic fruits. This, which I don't know what it is. This creature, I don't even know how you eat it. What is this? I have never in my life seen this, but you eat those and then you say a shehecheyanu, which means a blessing for something that you have eaten for the first time. Expensive fruits that you buy more for the ritual than for the eating itself. This is a real pomegranate with 613 bits of ice cream. I can guarantee you it's exact for the holiday seasons. How could you say no to honey cookies? So the honey cookies are seasonal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure? Gigabench. I got the cookies for free. How about that? So one of the things that you'll see this time of year is a lot of people wish each other a Happy New Year or shake hands. Generally, when I first started to give tours for years and years, I would just walk around during the New Year like an outsider, and people have gotten to know me well enough. So many people came up to me and wished me a Happy New Year, and it's really, really lovely to be part of that moment. See the silver? Pretty sure that cup over there would be a honey holder, which you used to put the honey in it on the table. $70. Choker is $70. I can't show you, I can buy one and blow one. $70 is out of my price range. It is part of the Jewish New Year's repentance rituals, where you blow a ram's horn that's been dried out, and it makes this like long wailing sound. And that wailing sound is supposed to evoke you towards feelings of remorse over the things that you've done badly and towards a desire to rectify our ways. It is actually really difficult to blow a shofar. I can tell you I've tried. What can we find in honey? Ah, there's a honey cake. Honey bun. So the challahs are still regular, but actually for Rosh Hashanah challahs are going to be round to symbolize the cyclical cycle of the year, I believe. This is how I remember it. But all the challahs are going to be changing in a day and a half, and they're all going to be round challahs. That's the Rosh Hashanah New Year challah. This is a poster that reflects the somber time of the year. Rosh Hashanah is a time of repentance. It's a Jewish New Year where your fate for the next year is being decided. So you have to spend the holiday thinking about your actions and correcting your actions and finding a course of action and praying for forgiveness for the ways that you've erred. All of these posters are fresh up the walls now for the new year. We are now in the intermediate days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is the holiest day of the year. It is the day on which your verdict for the entire year is decided. It is a day that, in order to ensure that you get the best verdict possible, the Jews spend fasting, wearing white, and in prayer, and the preceding days are spent doing as many good deeds as possible in order to tilt the ruling of Yom Kippur in your favor. The metaphor for this season, the eve of Yom Kippur, is actually a scale in which we imagine two sides, one on which all your good deeds that you've done during the year are on, your charity and the mitzvot, and on the other side are the bad deeds. And depending on which side tips the scale, that's what your verdict is going to be. So it's a very, very serious time. Some of the things people will do in the preceding days in advance of Yom Kippur in order to try to amass more good deeds are, for instance, during Rosh Hashanah, listening to the shofar, the blowing of the ram's horn, or on Rosh Hashanah, you go to the water and you empty your pockets into the water, a metaphor for emptying your pockets of sin. And today we have a special ritual called kapores, which involves swinging a chicken around your head in order to transfer the sins onto the chicken. A lot of people are home today, and it's one of those days that everyone is dressed to the nines, and the fashionable way to get dressed is to have all of your children matching outfits, and they're coming out for the kapores. We have right over here one of the stops where people do the kapores. So the boys are manning the table, and the prayers for what you need to say as you swirl the chicken are up there for people to recite it. That's a madhouse, as I knew it would be. Everyone is out.
This is not everyone.
This is not everyone.
Far from everyone. This is far from everyone.
Relative to always. I used to find the chicken ritual to be, I don't know, exotic, strange, interesting, exciting. A lot of people here think it's exciting, but I think I've really started to feel differently about it since I have animals in my own life. And once I think you start to understand what animals are like, maybe it makes the chicken ritual very different. Excuse me?
Yeah,
How much is a chicken?
$10.
$10 per chicken?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I thought it would be 12. Cheaper than I would have guessed.
Did you help with taxes?
So everyone is talking to me today. People are very, very eager to share. They think I don't know what's going on. They want to explain what's going on. And one woman was saying something that I forgot, that the chicken is sentenced to death. And by being sentenced to death, the human is sentenced to life. So whatever potentially bad verdict the person can get on Yom Kippur to maybe be sentenced to a bad fate, the chicken now gets so the person will live. Sukkot is well known as a harvest festival, but we actually best knew it as a holiday that commemorated the 40 years that the Jews wandered in the desert after leaving Egypt and before arriving to Israel. As the story goes, during that time, God protected the Jews from the harsh elements of the desert by encasing them in a protective cloud. And to remember that, we build a sukkah on the holiday Sukkot, or a hut. For 7 days, families will have all of their meals inside the sukkah, and many men in particular will even sleep in it. A proper sukkah will have 3 walls, probably 4, and it has to be unobstructed on top, except there will be a leafy or a bamboo ceiling above. Sukkot is so important in Hasidic Williamsburg that the entire architecture around the neighborhood is designed in part around the Sukkot holiday. So people will make sure that they have balconies that are unobstructed so they can build beautiful huts when the Sukkot holiday comes around. And this is just that time. We're finally seeing all over the balconies have filled with wooden or other kinds of constructions as people prepare for the Sukkot holiday. Behind me, a gentleman is putting up an awning to protect his sukkah. So even though in order to have the meals in the sukkah, it needs to be open to the sky, when the meals aren't had, there will usually be an awning to protect the beautiful decorations and the furniture inside the sukkah from the rain, from the elements. What do you suggest I try for a holiday specialty? Potato gnocchis. We call it shlishkalach. You hear people call out of their sukkah. You know, people can hear each other in the sukkah because it's outdoor. I think the loudest cry will be for more shlishkalach. This is arugula with pastrami and like a honey mustard in it. I generally don't eat meat, but if you're gonna eat meat, I think this is the sinful way to go. My hands are so greasy. I'm eating pure fat. These are the round challahs of the high holiday season. Last time I was here, I wasn't able to show it to you. Hasidic challah is different from what I call regular challah, that it's a lot fluffier, it's a lot airier. It grows all the way out of the pan, and it takes on a shape a little of a muffin. I give this to my Friday tour guests, and they all agree it's really, really good, especially dipped in tomato dip. This is one of the specialty desserts of Sukkot that people will be making. We call it cake. This is schach. It is actually bamboo, pieces of bamboo that has been turned into a mat, and it'll be rolled out on top of the sukkah. This shop sells a lot of sukkah decorations, often similar to Christmas decorations. But often grapes are also a big theme, waterfalls, color lights, and steins, which is something I've done a video on. A lot of the stuff you'll find in these shops here is sold now. This is the latest in sukkah technology, see? Oh, it's sunny. This is like a camp tent, only for sukkahs. It's a proper pop-up. There's schach even. On Sukkot, one of the most important rituals is to take what's called arba minim, 4 kinds, and to hold them together and to shake them in the sukkah. And the reason you do that is because in Leviticus 23:40 in the Bible it is written, "You shall take on the first day the fruit of splendid trees, branches of palm trees, and boughs of leafy trees, and willows of the brook, and you shall rejoice before God for 7 days." And that has been understood, interpreted to mean a citron, which is this fruit that looks like a lemon, but doesn't taste very good and smells really, really delicious, very fragrant smell. Lulav, which is a palm tree leaf. Hadassim, which is boughs with leaves from the myrtle tree, and arabis, which is branches with leaves from the willow tree. And that's what is sold in this big market, and people will look very, very carefully to make sure that what they're buying has as few blemishes as possible, and the more beautiful it is, the more expensive it gets. Today is the day that people are buying the Esrog. This is $16. And I'm now in the middle of the market, on Lee Avenue where all of the things that you need for the Daled Minim are being sold, and it is extremely busy. You have to constantly push through people to get through on the street, and people are inspecting these items with like literally jeweler's glasses to see that they get the best, highest quality of these Daled Minim, and they can go for a lot of money if they are considered more unblemished and more beautiful. $300 for the most expensive he has. This is just the street vendors. The good stuff is in the shops in the side streets. I brought $40 and I thought I'd try to find an Esrog Lulav and the two other things. He's selling them all prepackaged ready for the cheapest price of $100. So I'm 60 short. So this is a koishila. They are special cases to hold the entire set of the palm leaf and the two other leaves together. And this, you're gonna see a lot of people walking with like a big case, and you'll wonder what it is. There's gonna be a case to hold the palm leaf and the other things, the whole set. The noise and the activity here is dizzying. Just a couple of days that it's gonna be like this, and then the entire neighborhood is gonna go into a little bit of a lull as the holiday actually begins. The neighborhood, the streets look very different than they did just a few days ago, but they're still very lively in their own way. People are out because it is today Chol Hamoed. Usually during holidays, you are not allowed to shop, you're not allowed to turn on lights, you're not allowed to cook, you're not allowed to ride a car or a roller coaster. But Sukkos, because it is such a long holiday, it's 7 days, and then there's some store on top of that, there are intermission days, intermediate days called Chol Hamoed, when you are allowed to do a lot of things that are generally forbidden on holidays. As a result of that, this becomes the time that families go out on major outings. So people will go to parks, people will go to zoos, people will go on ferries, or the amusement might come here. And we're going to go visit the amusements as well. I got someone to come enjoy the amusements with me. Who are you? Introduce yourself.
I'm Seth, her illustrious son.
Whoa. We're gonna go check out the rides. We both have a lot of memories of the rides.
Yeah, well, you didn't go on. I was looking for it.
I went on rides in my day. I have a fear of heights.
Once a child.
I have a fear of heights, so I couldn't make myself go on some of them. I remember the things I have of the memories I have of these rides, including this one, is I remember being terrified to go on all of them.
This one isn't even that tall.
It doesn't look tall now. During the holiday, during the intermediate days of Chol Hamoed, everyone dresses not quite in weekend finest, but in nice Argyle sweaters or other sweaters, matching outfits. And the men are wearing the weekend clothing. The married men are wearing the shtamel and the bekisha, the shiny coat. So there's a very festive feeling in the air. I'm just checking if they sell citrons now, so we can experiment. Lemon or citron? Lemon or citron? There are no citrons. People are walking around holding something that my tourists always ask me about. They're holding something tall and a box that's often silver, beautiful silver case. It's real silver. If you've watched until now, you probably know by now what that is. That is actually the Esrog and the Lulav that people are carrying to the synagogue so that they can shake it over there. But can we show the camera what you're holding? He's holding. You have an Esrog?
Are you Jewish?
I am Jewish, but
You want to do it?
you know, it's very unusual in Williamsburg for people to do this.
Take this on the left side. Baruch atah
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam
Asher Kadeshanu
Asher Kidshanu
Mitzvasav
B'mitzvosav
V'tzivanu
Al Natilas Lulav.
This on the right side. Yeah, left side. Okay. You did do it
The pitum
first
up
time?
or the pitum down?
Hit them up. You did it the first time now?
Yes.
Okay. So
Not ever.
give a shake. Baruch atah
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam Asher
Shechayanu.
Shechayanu V'Kimanu V'Giyanu Lazman Hazeh.
Give a shake. Okay.
That's it?
That's it.
You don't have to do it inside the sukkah?
You can do it.
This is good? Okay, it's good for me. Thank you.
Sameach.
Hag Sameach. All right, thank you. I did a mitzvah. Hi, are you Gabby?
Howdy, how are you?
Hi, hi.
What's your first name?
Frida.
Frida.
Yes,
How are you? Hello.
this is Becca.
Nice
This
to
is.
meet you. Okay.
I got you a little. Yes,
Come, take a look.
it all looks good. What's your name? Miriam Laya. Did you help build? I hear you help build.
Yes, I'm much more handy than my husband. But the boys did everything here. The lights, the schach, the covering, yeah.
Right, the lights.
They did it.
What's your favorite thing about Sukkos?
Trips.
2 things you like most.
Sukkah
Being in the Sukkah?
and Chalamoid.
You don't have school?
You don't have school? You like it?
Yeah, of course I like it.
Did you have treats? Cotton candy?
And ice cream after.
When you know Sukkos is coming, what do you think?
It's coming a great time.
Where did you go?
Luna Park.
What's Luna Park?
Amusement park.
What did you do at the amusement park?
Oh, right.
Can
Yes.
you explain to
This
us?
is a relatively big sukkah because this belongs to the synagogue. It's a community facility and anybody from the street can walk in and sit down and eat. And the whole idea is that we don't have even a door, you know, like anybody can come in. We rely on the protection of God. And we sit here, and this is really one of the only mitzvahs, maybe a few more, that the entire body is in the mitzvah, in the commandment.
So you want to show me what decorations you have?
These are, some of them go back for years, you know, we putting back the same every year. Some of them we inherited from previous generations. This is a fancy one, you know, this is printed, it's not handmade by the kids. And this talks about the guests we have every day. The first day we have the patriarch Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Aaron, Joseph, and King David.
Every night you get a
every
visitor.
night get a visitor. Some people even prepare a chair for that visitor.
Can we sit down?
Yes, absolutely. In the kitchen there's honey cookies.
Thank you.
It's honey cookie because we eat a lot of sweet and honey during the time of the New Year, Rosh Hashanah and Sukkot, as sort of as a goodwill that we're going to have a sweet New Year. For the season of Rosh Hashanah, the New Year's and Sukkot, we usually dip the bread or the challah into salt. That's what they did in the time of the temple. But now we replace it with honey.
No, you Shkoyach. That wasn't so bad.
That wasn't so. In Sheila, I sing, and Sheila, I'm the one who runs everything.
This is potato kugel, which is basically grated down potatoes and eggs and oil.
And it's good.
And it's very good, and it can be in the oven forever, and it's getting even better. And then we have meat and chicken. It's really,
Ooh, this looks like goulash.
Yes, it is.
Ah.
And we have chicken. It's also a honey chicken.
Do you do them intentionally for the season,
Yes.
honey?
So this is actually a leftover from the holiday, which is a good thing. That has the taste and the flavor of the holiday. And we like,
It's delicious.
Without my wife, I wouldn't be able to do anything. My wife is very talented, and she has tremendous computer skills. I hope I'm saying it. Software developer. She doesn't want me to say computer programmer.
Is that what you do?
I have a degree in computer science, yes. But I explain to children that everything can use be as a tool, as a positive thing, and it's not for his age. And why is the internet bad? Because it's going to show you things you didn't ask for.
Listen, the internet is a great invention. I could not be in business today without the internet. I would not be in business today. It's the great equalizer. I don't need the yeshiva to tell me don't have. I would never allow my kids, even if the yeshiva said expose them to the internet. I would say no, absolutely not. So I'm doing them a favor. But when they reach a certain age, hopefully they'll be able to handle it.
So can I ask you what it's like to sleep in the sukkah? You sleep every night?
Yes.
And how do you sleep?
I sleep very well, better than
How old are you?
8.
How much do you like sukkahs?
Hundreds.
Hundreds. Do you sleep in the sukkah? Good for you. Thank you so much for having us for this lovely.
Hast du
gegessen? Mr. Shingiri. Das ist wieder Tate.
So, after being welcomed into the Sukkah for the Liska sect synagogue, being given wonderful food, enjoyed lovely conversation, Ezra Friedlander, my host, showed me around the Liska little synagogue, and then Becca and I accompanied Gabby to the festivities on 13th Avenue for the Simchas Shaiva.
As I walked through the streets of Borough Park, I came across something that was quite surprising. The sukkah for the Munkach sect was ready for tonight's ceremony called Simchas Shaiva. Simchas Shaiva is reminiscent of an ancient temple time water drawing ceremony that was an omen for the entire year's rainfall, and it is supposed to be one of the most joyous ceremonies that are performed in the intermediate days of sukkahs. And the Munkach sect had their sukkah decorated for the ceremony. No one was there, so I snuck in, and it looked absolutely beautiful with crowns and decoration all around. And I bet by now it's filled with men who are singing and dancing in there. Are you going to Simchas Shaiva now?
Yeah.
How are you going to celebrate it? Just tell me that.
So they have over there a magic show for the kids. Then they have dancing, a lot of dancing.
The men?
Yeah.
Are your sisters going to the Simchas Shaiva?
Yeah, they have a special place for the ladies. They're having a big event.
Which one are you going? Which sect?
13th Avenue.
It's going to be outside?
Yeah, you can go actually take video.
Gutter. We're in Borough Park now, and we walked over to 13th Avenue where there is an enormous Simchas Shaiva, an enormous ceremony of the Chol Hamoed days during Sukkot with music and throngs and throngs and throngs of people. I was walking in the crowd, and suddenly someone shoved a barricade in front of me, and I was locked out of the men's section and into the women's section. For now, we are pretty tired out, and we're heading home. Today, we're going to be joining the BAGLEITEN, which actually is the final ceremony that wraps up the end of the holiday season and ushers us in to a cold next period. The word BAGLEITEN is Yiddish for to accompany. When we were children, we had a habit in our home. This was a ritual that we would always have to bagleit someone if they were leaving. So if you were to leave the house, my mother would send a child to accompany you just a couple of paces out the door, sort of as a good omen while you left the house. But today's bagleiten is an accompanying of epic proportion. It is the accompanying the Satmar Grand Rabbi from his synagogue by the entire congregation to his home, where he steps out of his home on his balcony and he blesses the entire congregation. But we're going to find out if it's happening, what it looks like. I have no idea what to expect. We came a little bit early to the bagleiten, and I had no idea if it was actually going to happen because it looked like a regular end of a holiday. People were rushing home from the synagogues or from their relatives with their little children. It's a nice, nippy night. But now, as we've been hanging around a little bit, ambulance lights have gone on and they've started to pull out barricades, and it's starting to look like something's cooking around here. People are already lined up, waiting to make sure they have a good spot for when it actually happens. The New York Police Department, the Why do I want to say kapores? The NYPD, New York Police Department, have just arrived. They're always here, part of the ceremony. Hi, can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? I saw the kids are very interested in you.
Yeah.
Can I ask you what they want?
Oh, nothing. They were just asking us what we do, and we're just interested.
They're very curious about your equipment. Is that what they ask
Yeah,
about?
the equipment and our job.
We're right now actually on Bedford Avenue, which is 10.3 miles, which is very, very long. I don't know what it is in kilometers, but it is the longest running avenue in Brooklyn, and it connects Brooklyn north to south, connecting a lot of very, very different communities in Brooklyn. They're setting up the royal balcony. The poster they're just hanging up says Yechi Adonai Morani V'Rabbaini, which is a phrase you will hear quite often in relation to the rabbi. It says, may our leader, the rabbi, live. And then on the other side, it's sort of the beautiful crown on our head, sort of the rabbinic dynasties, the crown on our head. So it looks like the Grand Rabbi is in the Sukkah, this big public Sukkah that has been built at this school/wedding venue. And it looks like this is where he's going to exit, because a lot of people are already congregating, and the men are on one side and the women are on the other. And I know any minute now I'm going to be shoved into the women's section. We're gonna go squeeze, push our way. Men will not want to have a women in the men's section, but the women are much less sensitive to having a man in their section. So obviously, the ceremony ended and the rabbi's ready to come out. And everyone's running ahead so they can catch a spot. Oh, he's greeting everyone. There he is. Wishing everyone well. Blessings. It was packed there. We're the last to leave. It looked a little like those tubes where we stood.
Actually, help. The rausgenommen, heilige Tag, teure, smachtem, Lifnai Hashem, Aleikaichem, emeslige Simche von Beutel Alum, haben sie können mitnehmen, Stieberan, jeder eine, emeslige Simches von dem Eibestim, jeder eins, als solche Sachen.
Oye, wat hij zal die ik hem hier bij je smoke. Hij wie je schuld,
So that concludes the BAGLEITEN with the rabbi's blessing to us. It was actually quite interesting, to my surprise. The entire experience, completely new to me. And also because where it all happened is a big part of the historic story of Williamsburg, especially the big mansion where the rabbi lives, 550 Bedford Avenue. And it's a place I pass by all the time. And it was quite an interesting ceremony. And also it was cold. And now I'm heading home, and I'm wishing all of you the same as the rabbi said, a nice and lovely winter. And thank you for joining me on this experience of seeing the many, many colors of Hasidic Williamsburg. I got to show you just a slice of what it's like from my eyes as a tour guide to see this neighborhood go through all the transformations during all the festive celebrations. And there's so much to share, and I only got to show you a slice of it, but hopefully it gave you a sense of what it's like around here. That's it.